cool. So let's just jump into it, and then people can always watch the recording if they need to. But there has been so many questions about this lately, and like how we work this business and how the systems work. And they're very valid questions, honestly, because especially if you're somebody who has experience in network marketing or you've done another company, it is very different here. The systems are very different. So before we get into like how to use them and how to specifically do the things, I first just want to touch on why it's different, because I feel like that is honestly really important too. And a lot of people don't stop to kind of think about why they make sure that it's really different at Q. So the first one, honestly, is because if you have experience, if you don't, you can just ignore this part. Heidi, no, I'm doing a training. I'll be out in a minute. Okay, fine. Hold on, hold the phone. I'm supposed to surprise her with a movie. Well, oh my gosh. Anyways, sorry guys. So ignore this if you've never done another company. If this is your first one, honestly, that's pretty exciting. I feel like this is a good one to start with, and then you don't have to unlearn the things in order to learn them, because a very common thing that people struggle with coming to Q, one of the only things people struggle with, to be honest, is just having to unlearn different tactics. Okay, because in a lot of other companies there is more things to do, right? Like they constantly want you to message people, ask them to buy products or to join your team, or there's all of these things, and it's like go. And where people struggle is because while that's tiring, it does sometimes get you results faster, right? With this hustle mentality of like, okay, there's always things you can be doing, there's always a task list, you could always be doing something. But there's a big downside to that, okay? Because when we have that hustle mentality, do things sometimes go faster? Sure. But when you are constantly enrolling, oh, hold on, almost playing Tangled for you guys and not for the TV. There we go. When that happens, those people that you bring in when you're in the middle of that hustle mentality, they get so burnt out that they quit on you. Those people will not stick around, especially if they have not been told beforehand what will be expected of them, right? Because a big thing that a lot of MLMs do is this tactic called bait and switch, okay? And some of you guys will be familiar with that. So basically, it's when you're very vague about what you're doing. You make it sound easy. You don't give all the info. You just want to sign everybody, right? You don't like screen them first. You don't do any of that. It's just expected of you to mass enroll, right? So you do all the things. So you're always enrolling ambassadors. But then when you sign those people and now you're like, okay, let's coach you. We're going to do this and this and this, and you're going to have to do this. And then you give it to them. All of these people are like, whoa. That is not what we thought we were signing up for, right? And some people will do it with you. Some people will give it a shot until they get burnt out. But the retention rate is so low because so many people will come in and all of a sudden they're like overwhelmed with all of these things to do. And they're like, okay, no, this is not what I thought we were doing, right? And so that is a huge part of why Q is very different, because do the systems take a bit longer to get ambassadors in? Yes. But do those ambassadors stick around? Also, yes. Because they don't come in not knowing what they're doing. They don't understand the business. They understand what they're doing and they make a business decision to join the company, right? We don't try to, get them in before explaining to them how we work the business and how we're going to launch them. We make sure they understand so that nothing is overwhelming. Nothing surprises them. It's all about relationships and helping people understand here at Q. Okay, so that's honestly the biggest thing that a lot of people need to realize if they've come from other companies, is that it's very different. You're going to have to unlearn some things and you're going to have to learn to slow down in your life. But that being said, it has been the best thing I could have ever asked for, and I didn't even know I needed it. But ever since coming to Q, you guys, it's actually mind-blowing how much I've been able to realize things that I wasn't even letting myself do before. Like, for example, I love reading books. Like ever since I was a kid, books are literally like my escape. I read so many books. But in my almost 5 years of being in network marketing before coming to Q, I would not let myself read a book, because we were literally taught that if you have time to do something like that, you have time to work your business, right? Like if you have time to relax, you got time to work. And it was literally ingrained in us. Oh my gosh, I will never forget. There was a literal saying that was like, there's no BV in TV, meaning like you shouldn't be watching TV. There's no volume in that. And it's actually so bad looking back that we're taught that you're not to ever slow down and enjoy life and do the things outside of business. And so that's why with Q, it is slower, yes, but that is for your benefit. Be present with your kids, be present with your family, allow yourself to do the things that fill your cup and make you happy outside of the business. Okay, so that is a big thing with Q, and that is why it is always revolving around the 5 F's: faith, family, fitness, finance, friends. And you'll see that finance is second last, and that is not a coincidence. Your family comes first, your fitness comes first, okay? Your faith comes first. Everything in your life should be ahead of business. And it's so important that you guys remember that. And that's why these systems really revolve around that. So if you ever feel, like you're using the systems, you're doing the things, but there's so many of you guys that have come to me and be like, okay, but I feel like I need to do more. And like, it needs to go faster. What can I do? And like, you're trying to get into that hustle mentality. And that's why we don't do it. Like, take a step back, breathe. Are you using the systems? Are you being consistent? Are you forming those relationships and talking to people? Perfect. Then you're doing the things. You don't need to overwhelm yourself with tasks and feeling like you need to constantly be working the business. Okay. So I wanted to preface it with that because that is a big part of the culture of Q and why these systems are so different and seem so simple, but it is for your benefit. Exactly. I love what Kenzie just said in the chat. There's no busy work. You're either working or you're not. And when you're not, I hope you are truly disconnecting. I hope you're going out with your family or going out with friends, doing what fills your cup. Like, there is such a difference here. We don't want you constantly doing little things in your business so that you're never not working. We want you, when you are working, you're turned on working. And when you're not, you're turned off. You're doing all the things that you need to do. Okay. So that being said, let's get into the actual systems. Okay. So the best way to actually be working your business here is forming those relationships, okay? And that's going to come from interacting with people. Do your ABC list. If you do not have your ABC list, get that made, okay? And there's a video on that if you want, but basically it says that your A list is the people you're already connected to, you're already close enough with them that you could invite them to a QIQ. Your B list is the people you want to be there with them, but you're not yet. So you're still focusing on interacting with them, okay? So kind of like your target people. Your C list is the people you've already talked to, they just haven't committed yet. So maybe you invited them to something, but they didn't show up, or you sent them a video and you're not sure if they watched it. Like, they're just that in between, right? They haven't said yes, but they haven't said no. Okay. So kind of like your follow-up list. Have that list. And then even when you have 5 to 10 minutes, it's so simple to be like, okay, I'm going to spend this 10 minutes on my A list. I'm going to invite some people to the call tonight. Perfect. You just did amazing for 10 minutes, right? Or, okay, today I'm going to focus on my B list. Boom, you go interact with people on that list. Great. That's amazing for your business, right? Like, have your ABC list, and then everything is so organized and it's so easy to switch it around too. Like, let's say, for example, you invite some people on your A list. They don't answer. Cool. Cross it out, put them on your C list. Or there's somebody you're interacting with and you finally feel like you're ready to invite them. So cross them off, put them on your A list next time you invite them. Like, it's so easy to just switch it around, but keep it so organized at the same time. Okay. So make sure you have that list. But on top of interacting, there's of course a few things you can be doing. Okay. So for example, growing your network is huge so that more people are always seeing you working your business, right? And that can come from, if you're just adding people on Facebook, that can come from your content. If you're doing reels, those are amazing for getting followers. And we are going to plan a reels training. I actually just asked Kim to do a reels training for our team. So we're going to be planning that on how to make them, what content to use, things like that. So we will be doing that right away. But yeah, so there's just different things you can do, of course, to help your business. But the main one is just making sure you have your lists and you're inviting people to the QIQs. Okay. So we are not messaging people, asking them to buy products. we are not messaging people, asking them to join our team. We're not assuming things of people. We don't want to be pushy and assume what they might or might not want, because that is what every other company is doing. And that is what a lot of people don't want, right? So we want to be set apart from that MLM mindset of trying to, ask things of people. And we're instead just asking them if they're open to seeing what we're doing. That way they get to pick. They're literally choosing for themselves to show up, to watch the video. And then you'll have people that say, okay, this looks awesome, I want to be part of this. Or you'll have some people that say, okay, I don't want to work a business, but those products look really good. Can you give me info on that? Like, you are giving them the power to tell you what you want. And that is honestly, or what they want, sorry. And that is huge. That is literally huge for your business, because then your relationship is still perfectly intact. They don't feel like you're asking them to buy something or to go out of their way to do something. Like, you're just asking them to support you and come watch something. And that is so simple. Okay. And like I said, if you guys have questions about anything as we go to, feel free to send them in the chat. But let me know if this is making sense, or if there's anything you guys are struggling with. So really the main thing is QIQs. Okay. And one thing that I've really been touching on the coaching calls with people, if you're not doing it as a voice message, that's something I really want to challenge you guys to try. Okay. Instead of typing a message to somebody and asking them to come, if you're fully not comfortable, it's okay, but I do want you to try. There's even tricks on how to practice voice messaging. Okay. You can send it to yourself. If you go into your messenger, you can actually send yourself a message, and you can do it until you feel like one is really good. And you could even just forward it from there. And because you created the voice message, it will not say forwarded. It will look like you just sent it to the person. So feel free to go practice, send yourself some voice messages. If you want to send one to me or your upline, whoever signed you, and ask them to listen to it, give you feedback, like, we can help you. Okay. But voice messaging is huge. It takes it from, just asking somebody to making it really personal. So there's no room for them to even, accuse it of being fake or copy and pasted or a scam, like anything like that, because it's literally your voice going out of your way to personally ask somebody. It's that next level personal relationship, right? And it's something that Marielle, if you guys don't know who Marielle is, she's one of our top income earners. She was #1 in the company forever. She's so amazing. She did a section at Bronze Academy at convention with us, and it was so unreal, you guys. She actually gave us her exact wording. I've been giving it to you guys on the coaching calls as well, but just in case somebody hasn't had one yet, let me send it in our team chat here. So she gave us her exact wording, and what she did is she had us, sit at the table, and everybody, she was like, hey, we're all going to go to somebody who we would love to work with, and you're going to use this wording. And I think it was like the first 5 people or something like that to get a yes, we're going to get free swag. And so many people in the room got yeses immediately that she had to actually just pick who got it, because the wording is so good. And using voice messages is so powerful. So I really want to challenge you guys to try doing it as a voice message instead of typing it, and just see if it really does take your business to that next level. Okay. So that's one thing I wanted to go over, is just how to be talking to people, is just inviting them to the QIQ and build those relationships first. You don't want to ask somebody who you've never talked to before, and then it might be awkward, right? That's where those ABC lists come in. Make sure you're forming the relationships. If there's somebody that you want to ask, just talk to them a few times first, okay? And interacting does not need to be super thought out and long and stressful. Keep it simple and fun. It could literally be as simple as they post a story of them and their dog, and you say, oh my gosh, your dog is so cute. What kind of dog do you have? Or your daughter is so cute. How old is she? And then when they answer, you can be like, oh, what's her name again? Like, literally simple questions or compliments. I love complimenting people. If they post a story and it's like of them, be like, oh my gosh, your hair looks so good today. Or I love your outfit. Where did you get that from? Like, it can be so simple. It does not have to be some long conversation that you're forcing, because that probably is awkward, right? You don't want somebody thinking that you're forcing this conversation for any purpose. Just be so simple and casual about it. Compliment them, ask them questions. And after a few times, you feel like you actually do have a good relationship with them and you want to invite them now, perfect. And if you do it by a voice message, even more perfect, because it still keeps it really personal, right? So that's the big thing. It's just keeping those relationships, going through your list and interacting with people, and then inviting them to a QIQ. Okay. Now, what's next? This is the step that I feel like a lot of people that feel like they struggle with ambassadors, this might be where you're missing it. Okay. So let's say somebody comes to a QIQ. Okay. Actually, first, let's say they don't, because I think a lot of you are missing the follow-up step. When you invite somebody and they don't show up, a lot of people just get defeated and they're like, oh, well, they didn't come or nobody's showing up, right? Make sure you're following up with them. Keep a list of the people that say they're coming. Message them, remind them beforehand. That's super helpful because people do forget things, right? People are forgetful. They have kids, they have pets, they have busy lives, they work. Send them a message, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even half an hour before, whenever you have time. Remind them, make sure they have the Zoom info, be on top of it to help them get on, right? Because if you go out of your way to help them get on, they know that this actually means something to you and you're counting on them to come, right? So put that little bit of energy into them, okay? And then after the call, if they did come, follow up, ask them what they felt. What was their favorite part of it? Did they enjoy it? Ask a question so that they answer, okay? Something that they have to answer you. If they weren't on, that's okay. Message them and say something as simple as, I'm so sorry you didn't make it. I missed you on the call. If I were to send you a recording of it, would you watch that instead? I totally get you were probably busy. That's fine too. A lot of people will probably answer and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I got busy. Totally didn't mean to. And they'll take a recording. And that's good too, right? But if you just give up, you're like, oh, they didn't show up. They don't care. How do you know? How do you know they don't care? You didn't reach out, right? So make sure that you are taking that energy to form these actual relationships with people and show them that it means something to you. Because if you are just, inviting a whole bunch of people, leaving it at that, not reminding them, not following up with them, that's not showing them that like you actually care that they come and that you want them to come, right? Be that person that's there that's like, yes, I'm so excited you're coming. Show emotion. You will honestly never see me talk to somebody who I'm wanting to work with and not have like exclamation marks and happy faces, because people need that honestly. And I know that that's difficult for some people if you're very just like blunt and non-emotional. I get it. It's hard to try to, look happy in messages, but I promise you, if you try to make yourself do that all the time, it will come off better to your prospects. They will feel, more excited and like they're really wanted, like you want to work with them. So make yourself just put a few exclamation marks and a happy mark or a happy face or a heart. I use hearts all the time. I hope people don't find it creepy because I love hearts. I don't know, but it works really good. And people will flock to you if they feel like you are excited and you love what you're doing. Okay. So put thought into it. Keep those relationships, okay? So, like I said, keep lists, follow up, give them a recording. If they didn't come, it's not the end of the world, okay? That's the biggest thing. But let's say somebody did come, okay? Next step, somebody came to a QIQ, they watched it, you followed up, and they say, yeah, you know what? I actually really enjoyed that. They tell you their favorite part, whatever. They're interested, okay? You have somebody interested. This is where I think a lot of people are forgetting. Do not just sign them up. Do not just send them your website. Do not say, okay, awesome. Let me send you my link. Or, okay, it's only $39. Let's get you signed up. No, we are not racing to sign people up here. Okay. And this is where it takes unlearning, because a lot of people are used to the hustle culture of, yes, I'm getting an enrollment. And you think of it as something exciting for you. And it's a win for you, right? Somebody wants to sign up. Let's get them signed up. But step back and breathe. Breathe for a second, okay? Amazing. You have somebody interested. Next, you're going to say to them, okay, amazing. I'm so happy you're interested. And of course, you can tweak what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to use it word for word. I'm just telling you what I say, okay? Amazing. I'm so excited to work with you. I love that you're wanting to do this. Before we do this, though, I would love to introduce you to my mentor so that you get the chance to see some of the support we have here. And then you can ask any questions and just kind of get to know how we work the business and how we can help you be successful here. When do you have like 20 minutes in the next few days that we could do this? We are not signing them up on the spot. We are introducing them to someone first. It can be me, it could be Kristen, it could be whoever enrolled you. Like I know Kenzie's doing calls for her team, Kim's doing calls, like whoever you're working with that you want to do the call for you, perfect. Use whoever you're closest to, right? And we will take the time to do the calls with you. You're never bugging us. That's literally, we want you to do this, okay? Use these systems, get them onto a call. Even Marielle freaking does calls for us. There was one day I saw Kim's story and she had Marielle doing a call for her. And I was like, damn girl, like that's so exciting. I love that we have so much support that you can literally ask whoever you want to do a prospect call for you and they will do it for you. So ask, okay? But there's a few reasons we do this. The first, like I said, kind of shows them the support, right? You want them to see that there is more people that will help them than just you. You want them to see that. You want them to see that you are literally going to sit there on mute while somebody else answers the question. So they know it's okay to not know everything. They don't think they have to be a professional and know all the answers. They literally will witness you sitting there not doing a thing while somebody else helps you. And that is so powerful because then they're going to come into the business and understand that they can ask questions. They can go above you if they need to and say, look, I need help with this, right? It's literally teaching them that we help you here. They need to feel that, okay? But the next reason we do that is because we do not want people to sign up for as cheap as possible without any of the info, and then they're just not excited and they just quit. Because that's what happens. That is truly what happens if they don't know all the facts and did not make a business call to do this, right? So you're going to get them on a call, answer their questions, and a lot of them will have questions. You want them to know how we do the systems beforehand, okay? Sorry, excuse me. So for example, we're going to explain to them how we use the QIQs and how we're going to launch them and how we're going to help their people invite to the QIQs. Like we want them to know how we're going to work the business before they sign up, as well as we want them to understand the timing of this opportunity. That if they don't commit to this for like a few years, it's not going to be the same in a few years. The timing we have right now is huge, okay? But the biggest one is we want them to understand that we want to help them the best we can. And that includes coming in with their 100 PV. And Kristen always explains this so well. I can't even like duplicate how she explains it, but she always tells this story about how she signed this girl who, didn't have the money. And Kristen was like, okay, you know what? It's fine. We will still work your business. We'll get it figured out. And that girl killed it, would have went executive. Her first month, she would have had all the bonuses. And Kristen said her total was like $750 from back then. Okay. She had $750 on the line. But because Kristen had allowed her to sign up with the expectation that she did not have to do anything to actually be qualified, this girl at the last minute could not find the funds to get her 100 PV. She could not sign any customers because she didn't have products herself. They all wanted to see her testimony, or they just wanted to work the business. Most of her people upgraded to ambassador, or they didn't want to order from her because she had no products. So she could not get qualified, and she could have had $750 and she made zero because she was not explained the importance of being qualified. And that's why Q is so different. We want you to understand. We want people to make a business decision and see that if they come in with 100 PV, they're qualified. Let's get them their bonuses. Let's get them promoting. They don't have to worry about that. And then if they run a subscription, we never have to worry about that. They're literally always qualified so they can go out there and make all the money they want without feeling that pressure of, okay, I have to sign customers, but I have 0 products on hand. So if anybody asks me, I'm screwed. I have no testimonies. I've never tried this myself, but I'm going to go try to sign some customers. Or, like you go into defense and panic mode and you have nothing that you can do for it because you are not doing it yourself, right? That's just common knowledge. People will not order products from somebody who has never shown the products themselves, is not using them. Like, why would they order from you, right? They're gonna go to order from somebody who's on like all the time, showing themselves, using the products, being a testimony. Like, it's so important, you guys. So that's the biggest thing, is let your mentor explain to them why we have them come in with the products. Okay. And I know, again, people with experience, that's a big thing to unlearn, because other companies are like, no, that's bad. We don't do that. We don't want them to like spend money. But a lot of the comp plans are not the comp plans that Q has. And that is where it is, again, very different. Because do we want them to spend money when they sign up? Yes. But do they have the room to make $1,500 in their first 3 weeks? Yes. That is different. Other companies, you guys, if you know, other companies literally coach you that it's normal to make $30 your first month. I was literally coached to tell people that your normal first paycheck is going to be about $30. And when mine was 130, my enroller was like literally mind blown. She was like, oh my God, that's so huge. But like, don't share that. Like, make sure your teams know it's really normal to make like $30 to $50. Like, that's way above average, but it's good. It's a business. That's normal. It's going to start really slow, but like a year from now, you'll make more money. No, no, it should not be normal to make $30 your first month. And at Q, especially with what they just announced at convention, we literally get to help people make $1,550 their first month. That is huge. That's literally almost a mortgage payment for people. Like, that is a big number. Okay. So to set that expectation for them of when you come in, you're going to want to be qualified so we can make this big money. Yes, it's going to cost you to be qualified, but look how much you could be making. Like, that is huge, right? Huge. The enhancements they gave us were, oh my gosh, mind blowing. Yes, Kenzie, so mind blowing. Especially with the products too. The fact that we have a Q home line coming out where everything is between $7 and $35. It's so affordable. And they're first to market products, or, like upgrades from what other people are using, and they're more affordable. Like, this is the time that people can come in and be killing it with this business, right? So make sure that you're doing these calls where we can explain all of this to them. So they come in, they make a business decision, they get their products. Because something else that Jake always says too, is that somebody who doesn't spend money, I don't remember how he words it, but it's the story behind it, I guess. Somebody who doesn't spend money is not committed to that decision. That's a fact. If they come in, they spent $30, they literally don't care if they succeeded or not. They can lose that excitement in like a day because they didn't put that much on the line, right? There was no big like commitment. They didn't put much out of their way. They put in $30. Cool. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, fine. But if they come in, they're already qualified for a paycheck. No skin in the, yes, that's what he said. No skin in the game. That's what it is. If they come in, they're already qualified. They have spent, 150, whatever it is. That's amazing. That's a big investment, right? Now they have a package coming in the mail that's going to make them even more excited. And you think the day they get that and they get a package, that's not going to make them even more excited and want to work their business, right? Like, everything that leads into actually coming in qualified keeps them in the game. They have the investment. They have a package in the mail. They now have products to use that they're going to try and love. Like, it literally just keeps adding up, right? So it's so important, okay? So a lot of people that feel like maybe they're not signing ambassadors, but they're not doing that step of doing the prospect calls, I guarantee you that is why. Because it has a huge ratio of people that do the calls to those who sign up. It's actually mind blowing. Okay. So make sure you are doing those calls. Okay. And that they're getting their products. Next, something we switched after a tip that I learned at convention that has been mind blowing. Okay. When you sign an ambassador, the first thing you're going to do, you're not going to send them the form first. Okay. You are going to book their onboarding call first. The first thing you're going to say to them when they sign up is, oh my God, well, be a person first. Be like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to work with you. Can't wait to do this. Whatever you're going to say, right? Be excited. And then you're going to say, okay, when do you have an hour that we can get on Zoom and launch this for you? And book it on the spot before you do anything else. Book their onboarding. Okay. Because what was happening is we were doing the form first. We were sending people the form and saying, okay, fill this out. And when you're done, send us a picture. We'll book your onboarding. Okay. Which works with some people. The people that were really serious, they did the form, they sent it in. Great. We kept going with it. Right. But some people didn't. And some people were getting lost in the process because it makes it feel like they have as much time as they need. Right. And when somebody signs up, their excitement might be up here on day one, but day 3, they haven't sent their form in. Their excitement is all the way down here. And now they have a bit more fear because they still feel like they don't know what they're doing and they haven't started anything yet. And now all of a sudden, as the days go by, they don't want to do that form as much, right? It's gone. That excitement is gone. So what you need to do is book that call first. That is the first thing you're going to do. So they know they have a call scheduled to learn what to do. They know they're on track. Okay. And as soon as it's booked, then you're going to send the form and you're going to say, okay, perfect. In the meantime, I'm going to need you to fill out this form before the call so that we have it to work with. Now they're like, okay, this is legit. I have a call booked and I have to have this done by then. And it puts them into that, like urgency mode of, okay, I need to do this and make sure it's done. They're literally counting on me to do this. And there's a deadline, right? And so now they do it. The call is booked. They show up, they have the form, boom, done. Like you got them in, right? So make sure we're switching that now. That was something they talked about at convention. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so simple. It's literally like stupid. It's stupidly simple. Just switch the two and it changes everything. So make sure we're switching that, okay? Not the form first. We're booking the call and then giving them the form, okay? And also another tip they mentioned too, they were specifically talking about Calendly, which I know a lot of you don't have, but even in general, when it comes to booking calls, they made a comment and they were like, do not take calls 5 or more days out. Like it should be within the next, like shorter than 5 days, because then it's like now or never, right? And I never thought about that. That was another comment. I was like, oh my God, that's so like stupidly easy, because I always just had my calendar up for the whole month. And it happens. People will book it for like 2 to 3 weeks from now. And every time I'm like, that's weird. That's really weird. But guess what? When that day comes, guess who doesn't show up? The people that booked it weeks in advance. People don't actually have that long of patience. They push it out because they're nervous and then they don't do it. They talk themselves out of it. So don't give them that option. If somebody's going to book something with you, it's now or never. Like book it in the next few days. We're doing it. It's done. We're not giving them that extra time to scare themselves and to let all that fear creep in and lose their excitement. Like, no, we're doing it. If we're doing it, we're doing it. Okay. So that was another thing, is anything you're booking with people, make it within 4 or less days. We're not doing 5 days out. Okay. Next, onboardings. And I know a lot of you are not doing your onboardings yet. But if you're not, I highly encourage that you go to them, bring your person on, do it with your upline, take notes on how they do it so that you can start doing it. Okay. Because the best thing we could do, you guys, they talked about this for so long at convention. It was so gold. Come with your notes. Okay. The first 1 or 2 times, 3 at the most, you're going to sit and listen. You're going to take notes on how it was done. Get yourself familiar with it, like practice in your head. And then you're going to flip and your upline is going to come once you feel like you're ready, but don't wait too long. Let yourself, get uncomfortable, because that's when you grow. Then you're going to have your upline come on. They're going to sit there on mute and they're just going to watch you and then give you feedback if needed. That way you're doing it yourself, but they're still on there in case, you do panic or there is something you really need help with. And then if it goes great, amazing. You can fly on your own. Right? Because you want to be the person that eventually does do these calls for your people. Because the truth is that they didn't sign to work directly with somebody above you, right? They trusted you. They picked you. So if you can get yourself into a place where you are comfortable doing their onboarding and you are comfortable getting on calls with them and answering their questions and doing the things, that's amazing. That's when they're going to be like, okay, this person is great. She's putting time into me. She's helping me. And they feel like they made a good decision, right? So you want to get to that point of doing those calls for them. But we will help you get there. We will show up for you guys. We will help you. We'll sit there and give you feedback if you need it. Like, we will take our time with you guys to help you get to that point. But try to get to that point. Okay. What do we got? Okay, yeah, launch calls. And then I guess the only other thing was kind of like the outline of a launch call and how they should look. Brittany Hitch went into detail on this as well. And she said, the first 15 minutes, that's when you're going to go into, like the information that they need to know, such as like, okay, this is the 100 PV again, like all the things we have on our launch form, right? All the information about running your subscription. It goes into adding them to the pages, getting them in the chats, like things like that. All the things you need to do should be crammed into the first 15 minutes. Okay. After that should all be action. You are actually helping them invite to a QIQ. You're talking to their people. You are helping them get into action. And I think this is something that a lot of people are also missing too, because if you don't do this on the call and you trust them that they're just going to do it after, I'm telling you, they will not do it after, because that's when they're by themselves, they can allow themselves to get nervous and no, they don't have to do it anymore. Or no, I don't got to do this. I'll just say I did it, right? Like, there is nobody there to hold them accountable. So show them that they can do this and that you're there to support them, and just say, I'm going to work with you while you do this. Show them you're on your phone. Be like, yeah, I'm just going to invite people too. Do a voice message while they're listening to you. Show them that like you love doing this and that it's fun. Like, do it with them. Okay. That's huge. Getting them into action on the call will change how they work their business after the call. Okay. Because if you don't do action, they probably are not going to do that much action on their own. But if they come in and right away, you're showing them how to work the business and that the biggest thing is inviting to QIQs and this is how we do it. Guess what? They're going to leave the call being like, wow, like I feel so accomplished. They're going to have people replying to them. They're going to have confirmations for the QIQs. They're going to have people wondering what they're doing, right? Like, it's going to start that momentum for it. And think about it in terms of like, you want these people to have momentum, right? Why would you take that away from them? And that's what not doing that action on the call does. It takes away that possible momentum right from day one. Because the people I do calls with, you guys, that invite on there, 9 times out of 10 have confirmations before they leave the Zoom. And 9 times out of 10, those people leave the Zoom and are so pumped up and proud of themselves for the work they did on that action call that they keep working their business because they already have people coming to check it out. They've already told people what they're doing. They're being held accountable now. People are watching them and wanting to do this with them, right? So make sure 45 out of the 60 minutes are you helping them take action. Show them how to invite, show them how to voice message, do all the things, okay? And that's going to make the biggest difference for your business, okay? I think that's about all after that, because then it literally just circles. This is where the momentum comes in, you guys, because if you're just focused on inviting people to QIQs yourself, it literally just keeps spiraling over and over and over again. Because if you keep inviting, people keep showing up. And if those people enroll, guess what? Now those people, you're going to help them invite. They're going to have people show up. We're going to do calls for them. If they have somebody sign up, boom, we're going to invite that person's network to, like, it's so simple that it just keeps revolving like a circle. So if you just keep doing the things, it literally just gets easier and easier, but the momentum just keeps going faster and faster and faster, because as you get used to it, so does your team and the people you're working with. And it literally just goes full circle because everybody is just inviting to these calls. Boom, the people on these calls are getting onto a prospect call. Boom, you've signed an ambassador. Okay, let's invite again. Cool, those people are coming. Cool, we're doing a call. Like, it literally just keeps going, okay? So use the systems. That's why they're in place, because they freaking work. They work so good. They're so simple. And if you're just ever having one of those days where you're like, okay, but I feel like I need to do more, like I want to be working, just make sure you're doing the right things. Don't be doing busy work. Are you inviting to the QIQs? Okay, that's important. Are you doing that? Perfect. You're doing great. Are you forming the relationships? Are you going through your ABC list and interacting with the B list? Perfect. You're doing awesome. Right? Are you following up with the C list? Awesome. Are you growing your network, whether it's like doing reels or adding new friends? Perfect. And if you've done all those things, if you've had a day where you're like, I need to do more, but you actually narrow it down and you've done the things, just take a minute, breathe. You're probably being hard on yourself, and go do something with your family because you worked your business. You did the things that day. Now go breathe. Go do something else. Put your phone away. Okay. Because we don't want that hustle mentality of, okay, but I need to do this and this and this, and I should be working. No, you shouldn't be. At that point, you probably shouldn't be at all, because you don't want your people feeling that mentality from you. You don't want people to feel like you're hustling to get numbers, right? Because no, we don't want that. Okay, now I think that's about it. So I'm going to